All right, back in my friend's garage again, and this time I'm doing a rock to point with this particular type of chert that is like an Owl Creek type chert. But it's yellowish. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's an easy to knap stone when in the raw state. Hopefully. Now I chose this one because this is the worst one I had in my stash that I found. Looking through my storage unit, I found a bucket of rocks that I've had for like 5 years. Anyway, let's try it. 9-ounce bopper, copper tip weighted with lead, and a wooden handle. Okay. Yeah, it's high grade raw when it does not have any defects in it, and these I can probably use for small arrowheads. Okay, so let's see, the biface is going to be somewhere in there. I gotta get rid of this big lump on top. So let's see. And you can see the cortex goes inward into the stone in various locations, so that might interfere with getting a full biface out of this. We shall see. Okay, let's see. So no particular strategy. I'm just going to try to figure out where the good stuff is and remove the bad stuff from where the good stuff is. Away from the good stuff. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, no particular strategy. I'm just going to go for this at random. Let's just try random stuff. Just trying to be careful not to remove too much. Yeah, that might have been, I don't know. It might have been a little bit too much. Yeah. Oh well. It wrapped around this way. Instead of going only that way, it went up here. Let's see. What did it do? When it's high grade stuff, a lot of times it does weird things. Yeah. I hit it that way and it came around it didn't go that way. I thought it was gonna take this lump off here. Not any of this. But it went in there instead of popping out this way. Apparently this is the path of the least resistance. Okay. So you don't know these things. You can't predict them very well. So I could hit here and down in this mess and it might curl up and take this. It might just go that way. You never know. Now that I see how wonky the flakes are, I'm going to try to run this area through here to take this off by a hit right there, but it might just not go this way. It might go up this way. We shall see. Okay, it did go that way, but I was a little bit conservative because I wasn't sure. So the next hit, I'm going to hit it a little bit harder, right there next to it. Okay, a little bit better. Now I'm just going to flatten this out and see how it goes. And at the same time, try to remove the bad areas that I see. Yeah, this stuff naps well, as long as I don't mess it up. I'm not trying for big flakes that I can use. I'm trying to get a biface. So it wastes more material this way when I'm just focusing on a biface. If I wanted big flakes, I wouldn't be too concerned about the length, and I wouldn't be too concerned about preserving the width either. I would just look for big flakes. So if I get good flakes to work with, in this case, they're just going to be incidental. It's not going to be on purpose, because what I'm trying to do is just get a biface out of it, primarily. Let's see. I'm hitting on the cortex here, so it may not go. Let's see. Not too bad. Yeah. Sometimes when there's a lot of cortex, like there is, it doesn't go. But it looks like this is high enough grade material that it worked. Okay. I gotta figure out where the worst area is so I can attack the worst first. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of cortex and chalkiness on this side. That's why I'm attacking this side, so I can get rid of that. See how it grades into the good chert? So I've got to get rid of all that chalkiness, because I can't use that in the point itself. Not on the edge anyway. If it was on the base, yes, but not along the edge. I don't know if you can see it with this light, but there's cortex here and along here as well. So there's not that much in the middle. It's going to be long and narrow, probably. See, I got to get rid of this, but I can't hit in the middle. I've got to hit the ends first and then work on the middle. So that's why I'm trying to get these flakes to travel from the end so I can thin this at the same time. Okay. I'm going to lose some off the tip on this next strike. I'm just trying to expose the good material. I don't know. It should be okay in this lighting, We'll see. I don't know if you could tell the difference easily between what's chalky and what's good. What's not good and what is good. This whole side here looks like it's not that great. So this is a little bit better. Okay. Trying to take off the minimum amount possible, but I'm gonna have to take off more than that because it's just too much cortex there. So the hardest part is pretty much done. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is what we got left. And I didn't measure it. I forgot to measure it. But anyway, this is about, I don't know, 30% of what we had before. So we lost about 70%, I think. But it looks pretty good. Still got cortex, so it's going to be smaller than this. I had a feeling I left my, no, here it is. I thought I had left my tape measure back at home. Okay, so I'm going to measure this one. 5 by 2 1/4. Sometimes you find the artifacts that look like this. So let's see. Yeah, this is easy to nap stuff. So when I'm planning on when I'm trying to plan on what to do, you take into account that it's relatively easy to nap. So you're a little more, I can be a little more optimistic. So I'm pretty sure I can preserve a lot of this length and the width. Because I think I can get the flakes that I want. Yeah. Okay. So the width to thickness ratio is going to be, let's just call it 50. That's more than 25. It's between 1 to 1 and 2 to 1. Okay, so it's still really thick, but that's all right. Let's see. Try the softer 5/8 aluminum before I go into the 3/8 steel. Softer makes for less crushing on the edges. If I crush the edges, then it makes it more difficult to preserve the width. But if it doesn't work, I gotta switch to the steel. Many times steel works better on the raw stone. See, that should have gone further. I'm losing energy somewhere. And you compensate for losing energy by hitting harder or using a harder tool or both. Sometimes use a harder mallet. There's a lot of areas, a lot of ways to lose energy on these strikes. Sometimes the stone is just not cooperative. So that's another thing. But it is relatively easy to knap. So the uncooperative thing is probably not what's going on. It's something else. Am I trying for long flakes? I'm trying for no step fractures, not necessarily long flakes. I'm trying to not get that and not get that. Since I am getting it, I gotta switch it up a little bit somehow so I don't get that and I don't get this. Okay. I'm going to try grinding the edges a little bit more. That way, more of the tool is in contact with the edge, and maybe I'm losing energy by hitting these edges that are too soft and crunchy and thin. But if I think about it too much, even if I know what's happening, it's not going to work well. Even though I know what's happening, I could make the situation worse by thinking about it too much. I just have to go mostly by feel. Mostly by feel and less by thinking about it. Yeah, I think that step fractures like that are just part of the way the stone is. Which worries me a little bit because I could get a reverse hinge here any minute now. It wants to dive in. When I start putting enough force into it, it wants to start diving. Yeah. So I just whittled around that part that looked like it was starting to dive in. Luckily, it didn't dive. It was just an undetached flake. And that crunchy spot right there shouldn't be too hard to take out. Yeah, okay. Now on some of these real artifacts, sometimes they go with the flow and they don't have straight edges because they scoop out too much in some areas and they don't want to straighten it out and lose too much of the length and as an example. So they just go with the flow. So I might just go with the flow on this if it ends up being curved as far as the edge goes. Now the center line remains the same, but the edge may be curved. You know what I mean? The center line is from the point to the base. In between it may be wavy or curved. You know, as long as the point and the base line is still within the piece, it's not curved. It's not, or not too curved. Sometimes the point and the base line can be right at the surface of one of the sides. That's okay too. I've seen that on artifacts, but it can't be to where that line extends past one of the sides, because then you have a curve. Okay. Switch to the steels to see if I can start removing more precise flakes here. Yeah, there's still some cortex on this side. So I'm losing energy there. Let's try it again. Nope. There it goes. Trying to do the minimum possible. What was it, 2 1/4 width? I'm trying to lose the minimum possible. I already lost. If it was 2 1/4 before, I've already lost a ½ inch. I can't remember what it was. Can't lose too much more without risking snapping the whole thing. If it gets too narrow, it's very easy to snap in half. Yeah, good. I can be optimistic with some of these strikes, or optimistic with what I expect from some of these strikes. I was hoping it would do that, and it did. But it didn't scoop out enough from the middle, of course. Okay. Ouch. It worries me when I hit it really, really hard and it doesn't do anything. Or seemingly doesn't do anything, because it could be doing something behind the scenes or underneath and creating some incipient cracks. Yeah, grinding it a little more than I think I need seems to help. Oh, that's very crunchy. Okay. Yeah, it went as far as it would go and still be annoying. Yeah. If it went just a little further, took off more of that ridge, it would have been less annoying than that. But it wants to be annoying. Mm-hmm. There we go. So that's the hardest part. There's still one lump right there. Yeah, it's probably going to stay. It's kind of concretey right there, so it's probably going to stay in the finished point. Yeah, see, I can't remove a nice flake like that from this area. I just tried it and it didn't go. So to get rid of that, if I don't want it to stay in there, I got to narrow this down. I got to take this back and then shoot some more flakes. But that'll be on the next video. So yeah. So in the next video, I'll just make it more regular, which I call regularizing, which means just make it less wavy, less lumpy, and then see if I can start running more flakes in to clean up and smoothen out the surface. I need to make it less lumpy and wavy on the edges by making them less wavy and wonky. And then I can see if there's a path into the interior. Just make it smooth and less step fractured. Okay, but that's on the next one. Alrighty? Okay.
Came a long way.